An already contentious campaign for Riverside County Sheriff just got uglier as serious allegations are leveled against candidate Lieutenant Chad Bianco. The accusations were made by Moreno Valley Police Chief David Kurylowicz during last week's Palm Springs City Council meeting. Not only have the statements raised questions about the accuser, but also his motivation. And fundamentally, why is an officer who lives in Menifee and works in Moreno Valley appearing before the Palm Springs City Council in the first place? NBC Palm Springs' Kitty Alvarado has answers direct from the accuser and City Council.
I'm scared for my friends that are in the department. They're going to force us back into the closet.
This man is David Kurylowicz, the police chief of Moreno Valley, a Riverside County Sheriff's Department contract city, during Thursday's Palm Springs City Council meeting, making serious charges against the man running for Riverside County Sheriff, Lieutenant Chad Bianco.
I'm afraid for what's going to happen if this person becomes the top cop.
He says while he can't prove who is behind the attacks, he believes Lieutenant Chad Bianco's campaign for sheriff is targeting him for being gay.
I've lived it. I've suffered it. I've had to explain it to my children.
Mayor Pro Tem J.R. Roberts was moved by his statements.
Thank you, Mr. Kurylowicz. If you don't mind, I just had a few more questions for you.
Questions that continue to this day. After speaking with Kurylowicz in private and learning he and Sheriff Stan Sniff met days before the meeting in private with council member Jeff Coors, and someone in his circle tipped off the local paper about the public comment.
For Palm Springs, we take accusations like this very seriously. There is definitely a question in my mind of why he didn't go to the city where he lived or Moreno Valley where he serves as chief of police.
Kurylowicz says the insults are mostly online.
It's, for lack of a better term, it's cyberbullying.
But he also accused Bianco of using derogatory language in a conversation where he showed up to one of Bianco's events. We were given the audio of that conversation. Nowhere in that recording is there any derogatory language used.
I have no desire at my function here with people that are waiting for me and my family at home to sit here and discuss this with you.
Robert says he and his council will always stand up to bigotry, especially against the LGBTQ community, but he needs proof of these claims.
What's even more troubling for me is that there's no proof. Clearly, this man has witnessed or been a victim of harassment, but when he came to speak to us and in a subsequent conversation that I had with him, he has no real proof that any of this harassment, which is online and in other areas, came directly from Chad Bianco.
But
You're
why?
100% sure it's Chad Bianco who's a homophobe and who's ordering all these attacks and these blogs.
But why hasn't he come out and publicly denounced it?
Kitty Alvarado, NBC Palm Springs.
Kurylowicz says he went to the Palm Springs City Council meeting because he volunteers in that community. When Lieutenant Bianco heard about the allegations, he says he was angry because it hurt his family. He says his brother is gay and he would never make or approve of any attacks on anyone, let alone on who they love or what they believe.
The sheriff's campaign has done everything imaginable to try and link the Right On Daily blog to my campaign. It is not my campaign. It is not my campaign people. It is not funded by my campaign. It is not funded by me or anyone associated with my campaign. The current sheriff has absolutely nothing to stand on. So this is where we're going to take this campaign. Not about how we're going to better the community, not about how we're going to better the department. Let's say Chad is a homophobe. Let's say he insults people. Let's say he's causing all of this horrible things in our community. Let's just make it up. 2 weeks before the ballots get mailed out. The people that should be afraid of me are criminals, and only criminals. That's it. This allegation is a smear tactic, and a smear tactic only. It is not who I am, it is not who my family is, and it is not who this department is.
And we have reached out to the city of Moreno Valley, and they have yet to respond. Tomorrow on NBC Palm Springs, both candidates for Riverside County Sheriff will talk to us in the heated race. We'll sit down with the incumbent Sheriff Stan Sniff and candidate Lieutenant Chad Bianco. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, on your NBC Palm Springs News at 6:30.